A few weeks ago, the Surgeon General of the United States released a report titled Our Epidemic of Loneliness and Isolation. The report starts by listing the health risks of loneliness, including cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, susceptibility to infectious diseases, anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline, such as dementia and Alzheimer's disease. The report states, quote, lack of social connection can increase the risk for premature death as much as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, end quote. The report goes on to list strategies that governments, communities, workplaces, and schools can use to combat loneliness and isolation in our society. But in this video, I'm going to give you specific recommendations that you can personally use in your own life starting today. Hi, this is Carolyn Pitts with Intend Well. I'm an ACE certified health coach and intuitive healer. Every week, I post content with health and wellness tips to help you live an intentional life and be your best self. You can follow my content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or the easiest way to keep up with my content is to go to intendwell.us and enter your email address. Every Friday, I will send you links to all the content that I've posted for the week, plus a bonus extra just for my email subscribers. And if you subscribe now, you can receive a free copy of my Quick to Calm guide filled with techniques that you can use to be more calm and resilient to stress. Nothing in life has ever been certain. But it seems to me that since 2020, our collective awareness of uncertainty has been higher than I ever remember it being in my 60 plus trips around the sun. It started with COVID-19. Uncertainty about how to keep ourselves safe. Masks on, masks off. Is 6 feet sufficient? Then we got a vaccine, but we were still uncertain. Is it safe to take? Do I still have to wear a mask? And even though we're not asking those questions as much anymore, now we're uncertain about the future of democracy. There's uncertainty around economic stability, political stability, war in Europe, and places we used to go to without a second thought, like work, school, the grocery store. They no longer feel safe. I imagine that life must have felt uncertain for people living in medieval times. Look at all the castles in Europe. And people would live around the castle for protection. If they saw a ship on the horizon, everyone would rush inside the castle and pull up the drawbridge. They didn't know if the people on that ship were coming to trade goods or kill them. And everything was considered a threat until proven otherwise. This perpetual uncertainty that we've been living in since 2020 has our human survival instinct revving in high gear. And it's almost as if we have built virtual castles around ourselves. We've raised these invisible energetic walls around ourselves for protection from the uncertainty. Because our human survival instinct is revving in high gear, everything seems threatening. Changing societal norms, books, clothes, even words have people scared and upset. I don't care what your ideology is. This is biology, baby. Nature has designed us so that when we feel threatened, we react without even thinking. I'll give you an example. I'm sure you've seen video of a lion stalking an antelope on the savannah. Suddenly, the antelope realizes the lion is nearby. Now, the antelope doesn't stop to analyze the situation. It doesn't ask itself, does the lion look hungry? Maybe he's already eaten today. Is it going to be okay if I just go on grazing? No. You know what happens. That antelope takes off running. Its legs are pumping before it even consciously realizes why it's running. When we understand how our human biology works, when we understand our human survival instinct, with intention, we can outsmart our biology. So if you're feeling lonely and isolated, here are my recommendations for things that you can start to do right now, today, to feel better. Number one, establish a daily breath practice. I've talked about this a lot. In the beginning, you may need to set reminders for yourself, but after a while, it will become part of your daily routine. And once it's a habit, you won't even have to think about it. I have a full playlist of breathing techniques on my YouTube channel. Check it out. Pick one that looks fun and interesting to you and start doing it. For me, I have quite a bit of daily breath practice. I start with 15 to 30 minutes of yoga on my mat right after I brush my teeth. And if you've done yoga, you know Ujjayi pranayama is a big part of integrating breath with the movement in yoga. And when I finish my yoga practice, while I'm still on my mat, I do 2 minutes of 4-7-8 breathing. Then I feed the cats. And while the cats are eating, I do my HRV biofeedback training. I have a video on that as well. And that is a big part of, breathing is a big part of getting your heart into coherence. And because I practice all this on a daily basis, I know how I feel physically when my heart is coherent. And I'm very aware of when I'm triggered and my body is switching over into sympathetic mode inappropriately. And because I breathe regularly, I can breathe myself back into calm very quickly. Number 2, reassess the threat level. Yes, things are scary. Yes, there is a lot of uncertainty, but I think it's gotten a little exaggerated in our minds because that's what we hear about a lot. There's a lot of good things going on as well. Here's some things that I read on Nextdoor just this week. This from a woman named Aisling. I don't know who that guy was this morning. If he's on here, I just want to say thank you again for buying me and my friends breakfast at Burger King. That was really sweet. I wish only the best for that guy. This is from Michelle. I don't know if whoever it was is on here, but last night my family and I went to Cracker Barrel on Bell Creek. Before checking out for our food, my son lost my phone and was arguing with me about buying a toy. I was starting to get a migraine and feeling nauseous, plus my son, who has his own needs, was getting overstimulated. Point being, it was a huge scene and I'm sorry, embarrassed, but when we went to check out, our food was already paid for. If whoever did that is on here, I just really want to thank you and also apologize for anyone having to witness our disaster of a night out. She got lots of hearts on that one. And this is from Heidi. Daily reminder that there is so much good in the world. We just have to choose to recognize it rather than be consumed by the evil. Thank you to the honest person that turned in my phone wallet to customer service at Kroger Marketplace on Staples Mill. All the cash, debit, credit, and gift cards were still in place. And thank you to the kind lady Shannon working at the customer service desk. Recommendation number 3, try tapping. Tapping has been scientifically proven to reduce anxiety and trauma. It's being used around the world. I have a simple video on my YouTube site, Tapping into Tapping, that will walk you through the process. And you may want to add affirmations as you're working through the tapping to remind yourself that you are safe. Yes, there is danger in the world, but in this very moment, right now, while you're sitting there listening to this video, you are safe. All right, recommendation number 4. Begin to tear down those castle walls by reminding yourself how connected We all are. Remember the 6 degrees of separation? The theory that we are all connected to everyone else in the world by no more than 6 personal connections? Try sitting in a busy area, like the food court at a shopping mall. I did this in the Miami airport just last week. Watch the people walking by and ask yourself, I wonder how many connections there are between me and every person that goes by. Connections that you'll probably never know about. This reminds me of a story. Years ago, I was part of a birding group. We would meet and go birding, and then we would go out for a cup of coffee. And one week, a woman joined us who was new to the group. And when we got to the cafe, it was very crowded, and our group had to split up across multiple tables. And I ended up at a table with the new woman and another couple that was in our birding group. And we all got to talking, and we're just chatting along. And she mentions that she had recently moved to the area from Chicago. And it might have ended there, but the other couple started asking her questions because they knew somebody in Chicago and what neighborhood was she from, yada, yada, yada. Turns out her best friend back in Chicago was related to them. How cool is that? And finally, recommendation number 5. If none of the other 4 recommendations I've offered are sufficient for you and you're still feeling lonely and isolated, seek professional support. It is easier than ever these days to connect with a mental health professional. And if you read the report, which I will link up above, there are so many detriments to your physical health by feeling emotionally alone and isolated. You owe it to yourself to feel better and reconnect to the people around you and society at large. Thanks so much for listening. If you have a comment or a question, please feel free to reach out to me at intendwellllc@gmail.com or scroll down and leave me a comment. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful day. Remember, the best things in life are intentional, so intend well.